Welcome to this episode of Design Reviews with ReDecor. In this series, we'll jump into the Vote and Earn section where there's random designs from other users, and we'll try to understand why we like certain designs better than others and what we can learn from that for our own designs. I'll start with this, where the challenge was to create the best looking living room that uses velveteen and natural habit fabrics. And we see two designs here, one using a brick background and some red velveteen and red in the carpet, and one going more with the green design. Well, first, I always try to understand what's my gut feeling, and my gut feeling likes the lower one better than the upper one. And now I try to understand why that is. Let's start with the lower design. Here, what I like a lot is that it's very calm all in all. But there's also a very good color harmony. We can see that, for example, the tones here from this picture are also in both of the designs of the fabrics of the sofa, and here the user chose a different style for those little cushions or seats in the front and for the main sofa, which is quite nice, because having the entire sofa striped would have been too much, but the user still brought the stripes back in the form of those pillows. So this is a very, very sophisticated touch to not go with the cheap version of using the same fabric, but still keeping the patterns as a set and keeping that nice. There's a color that is already given, which is the green of those flowers here, and that made its way to the backdrop. That's why this works so well, because the green is already in the design, and even the floor has some green tint on it. I think maybe even those little feet here are green, and that's what ties the room together. The other color is this gray, but here we have again different variants. We have some sort of leathery gray that's coming from the pillows, and that made its way to this little bottle, but it's a more ceramic-y gray here. And then we have the gray, silver gray in this lamp, which is reflective, also lighting up this very dark corner. There's really nothing I can say bad about this. It works extremely well, this design, and even the pattern on this picture plays with the leaves that we have, with the colors, and this style could be rainbowy Sahara African style, so even the motif works with it. It's not the Eiffel Tower or some other picture, but something that works very well. So a very big like for this lower design. The upper one, on contrast, tried to bring harmonies in by using black on the pillows, black in the carpet, red velvet, red carpet, and the white. It's all on the carpet, so I suppose maybe the carpet was the first piece that went into it, but the carpet itself is so extreme that I think it would have only worked with an extreme room. If you start with that carpet, you have to go all in. You have to put like pink stuff around, put pink stuff on the wall, and really take this to an extreme and make it pop art, modern. But why did the user then pick such a boring picture? And this marble bathroom tile floor, which makes the room cold. It's not a comfortable room. There's already bricks on the wall, which make it cold. Bricks work with wood. You have stone here, stone there. This is gonna be a freezing cold room. Then the user also chose two different styles of the fabrics, like the one below. But first of all, they're not the same tone. I would have picked a more eggshellish sofa color in that case. Honestly, I would have picked the same pattern, but the reason why this one doesn't work as well as the lower one is the tone is not the same. This is too white. We don't have such a white here in the boxes. And then there is nothing that ties the box back to this lower sofa. So while the lower user has chosen pillows that resonate with the front boxes, this user neglected them and went all in on the carpet. And that's why this one doesn't work well. If you're using contrast, why not also have this lamp all black and make this very contrast rich, and to at least tie that to the sofa. Now it's all eggshellish, and all the attention goes to that carpet, which just doesn't look pretty. So sorry for that, but this this design must go. Now on the next room, we have two more harmonious designs in itself. I like the lower one better than the upper one again. And let's take a look why that is. First, we have harmony in the pattern. So we have those very subtle lines on the background that give it a sophisticated, expensive design look, which I really like. And then we see them again down here in the carpet in a different direction. So it's the same pattern, two directions, very, very beautiful and sophisticated. We have again two different styles for the sofa and the boxes, but the boxes are brought back to the sofa in the pillows, and that's what really works. We have the squares and we have the squares, and then we have the white that's on the sofa and on the blankets. And the blankets can be over the boxes, so that also works very well. And the blanket even has the stripes that we have in the background and on the floor. So now once you have identified such a pattern, the challenge is really to keep the rest calm. And the user does this perfectly by having a very calm photograph here or drawing that's not bringing in a lot of new colors or tensions. The reddish fish works well with these. The black works with the table and the white works with the background. So this is really tied well into the room. And very beautiful detail are those brownish features on the lamp. So no sharp contrast. We're staying in the color scheme, even the flask. So nothing cries for attention. It's a very harmonious look. And also the floor just goes to the back, and there's no sharp contrasts in between. Now let's look at the top one in contrast. All in all, also good, staying in the blue color scheme or in one color scheme. But there is no blue in the room yet, right? We remember what's given are the flowers. They are green. Green goes extremely well with brown. That's also why the bottom one works so well. Green and blue, yeah, can be if you're nautical or something, but there's nothing else that brings the green, that connects to the green very well here. So it could have been, for example, a green blanket or these things in green, something that brings the green back to the room. Well, you could say that the floor is maybe a bit greenish turquoise, but that's pretty much it. I'll go to what I dislike. It's a mix of styles. We have this very old school wallpaper, this kind of 90s carpet, 50s floor, 50s boxes here, very modern baby blue sofas. They all are in contrast with each other. Also, this black and white photo has no connection to the room. There's nothing else that's black and white. Could have worked if the lamp would have been black, for example. Or at least gray, something like that. That could have worked to bring the photo back in, but the photo doesn't really work with such a big, such an old school wallpaper. If you're a person who likes old school wallpapers, you're most likely also a person who likes framed photographs. Yeah, you can go all old school. They could all look like an old person is living there. Old person with style. No problem, right? Now you see how the wallpaper ties in well. But this is a modern photo. This photo does not have a frame. So we need a more modern and we need a more modern background that's less of this old school tapestry style. Right, then we can go modern. Then I would have even had some white pillows maybe. And a different carpet. No, I'm sorry. The more I look at this, the less I like it. Wow. Two extremely well designed designs. I can already tell that right away. Again, a brownish and a bluish one, but way more subtle, very rich in details. Let's take a closer look. This is going to be exciting. This is very, very exciting. I don't even know where to start. Let's start with the upper one. We see the connection of the pillows, the brown squares to the brown squares here, right? We already know that works. We know that brown and green go well together, so that's what defined the color here. Beautiful. Then we have this fantastic carpet that's really more, even more an art than this art piece. And I really like that that piece, again, is playing with the colors, the dark, the white, the brownish, but it's not too high in contrast. It's not taking all the attention. The attention goes down to the carpet, but that works well. And it's not conflicting with the floor, which is also very important. The floor stays back, but you see that the floor also has a nice pattern down here. So it's a sophisticated floor, which goes well with the style. It seems all very expensive, very well chosen and designed. There is no mix and mash of styles. It's believable. A person who likes that art might like that art, that carpet, and this kind of interior as well. This is very believable design. There's one high contrast part, which is this flask. This could have been gray as well to be work better with the floor, but maybe it would have been too little visible, which is why the user chose to go with the black, which we do have in elements here, and it's just a little dot of black on the furniture, like we have little dots of black also in the carpet and in the picture. Absolutely beautiful. Once you have identified something like this, the importance is to not disturb it with anything else. And we see the sofa is beautifully white, 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 white. Everything else is white. It goes out of the way. The star of the room is the carpet, and the rest plays along. Very well done. Very beautiful. Now on the lower one, it's the first time that we actually have the same pattern or the same fabric on both the sofa and the cubes, and that's also possible, right? So it also works very well. Beautiful done, and it's a good contrast to the background, which is the steel blue. We have a modern piece of art here. It's also believable. Modern person usually does not have a frame and would also choose a dark and bold color like this. It's a very daring background color for a living room, but since the sofa and then also the floor and the carpet are bright, you can actually do a dark background and put in proper lighting. We have a nice light effect here on the light or those deco in the corner using chrome, which reflects the light in the room, brightens it up. So this is very well done. And then we have a little bit of a critique here from my side, where this starts to fall apart. Are the color choices for the fabrics here or the deco articles. There's a green flask to work with the plants, but it's not such a dark green. It's a green that goes more with the subtle use of the background. Yes, could be that a darker green would have been too foresty and too extreme, but I think there's no need to make the bottle green. If something would have been green here, I think I would have chosen a green fabrics for these blankets, because green also goes very well with the choices they made here, and it would tie the design more to the plants. I don't know where the blue is coming from for the velvet. That seems a little bit unnecessary for me. Also, these pillows here, they bring in this turquoise and dark. That's just not really matching with the overall style. It's very ethno kind of natural fabrics, whereas the rest is very modern. So it's less believable that a person who's liking this kind of art and chrome lamps would put in some ethno art like this. And then we have a similar mix of elements here on the bottom. This carpet is extremely modern. It works well with the painting. It works well with the background. It does not work so well with those pillows and then these stuff. And then this other carpet with the squiggly lines just doesn't make so much sense to me. So while the first impression was awesome, a second closer look actually makes me vote for the top one. And I'm not alone with this opinion either. Now in this design, here we have some very expensive material choices again, especially on the top one. There's extremely expensive marble. Oh no, sorry, that's not marble, but a carpet that looks like marble. We have marble on the wall. We have some silk pillows. Very expensive material choices. But are they also good? Let's see. So connection between the sofas and the cubes. You can do that. Beautiful. We see the wall and the brownish blankets work together. We see the pillows and the bottle work together. We have nothing working with the plants, but actually you could say that this kind of texture is also reflected in the form. It doesn't always have to be the color. This natural growing is part of the painting, certainly also of the carpet here, those squiggly lines, so that works well. And is in contrast to the square lines that we have here on the cubes on the fabric. So that works well. I don't know if it would have been possible to tie the pillows in the orange better into the rest. I might have picked gray here and went all in with the gray and the gold. Maybe choosing a gold, choosing a golden lamp here and a golden flask to work with the golden lines that we have in the painting instead of this orangey. I think then we would have reduced the amount of colors. It would have looked even a little bit more sophisticated. Now for the lower one, we're certainly not in such an expensive apartment, and here we have a mix of colors of different ones and different styles. We have lines going down, we have lines going that way, we have squares, we have even more squares on the pillow, on the blankets. Then there's flowers on the pillows. There's some weird stuff on the carpet, and even weirder painting that just does not fit the overall style. This is color-wise harmonious, but pattern-wise an absolute mess, and that's why I cannot vote for this one. It could have been better with either the wall or the floor having paneling, but not both of them. If you have paneling on the wall, you can have a carpet that has stripes, for example, to match the wall. And then if you have already so many patterns going on, please choose a blanket that does not have so much texture on it. Just a simple blanket here. And then also this picture just does not work. That's too bright, too turquoise. These colors are nowhere else to be found. So this is not believable to fit to the rest of the apartment style, I'm sorry. Lastly, beautiful designs. Both of them generally, staying within a color scheme. Certainly like the top one better. We have the green, finally the green from the plants, seen somewhere, but in a very sophisticated way. Very beautiful. Let me show you why. There is a subtle plant pattern here in the background that's really extending the plants here. You could argue that the contrast is a little bit low, and the user could have picked a brown background to set the real plants apart with the same texture. But that's just a question of style. It works as well like this. I totally love those cubes here with the dark velvet. And then a contrast to green is always red tones and pink. beautiful with the pink. It makes it fresh. It doesn't make it dull, it's a nice gradient to this almost white of the sofa. And that is generating the contrast which we need to make the room interesting. Very, very beautiful. Now the next question would be what color to choose for carpet in this area. And here we see it's continuing the journey. We're going from the purple to the brown, but it's not a brown. It's actually a kind of tone that we know from the black and white photo. So that's why this part is a harmony, and then the white sofa is coming down here. This just all works. It's a beautiful mix. The background, I would have maybe picked something that's helps to set the plants apart, but otherwise it's beautiful. In the lower one, we also see a floral pattern. We have a contrast color to the plants. That's great, but I feel the pattern here is almost too extreme, especially because there's also a pattern on the picture in the background. So having less of a contrast on the background would help the picture to shine, would help the plants to shine. Right now I feel the background is taking a little bit too much attention for an otherwise beautiful choice of materials. So with a simpler white, maybe concrete pattern background, we would now have a reason for the artwork, which is beautiful and looks painted and goes very, very well with the carpet. They are beautiful. They are the defining elements here, and the rest of the textiles just recreates the painting and the carpet in furniture. And yeah, this is a beautiful mix. We see the dark blue, the dark colors coming in that blanket, and a second color blanket here, all using the same colors of the painting. That's absolutely beautiful. And the cubes also have a nice pattern on it, so they don't look too dull. The one thing I'm maybe not 100% okay with is the floor pattern here. That's a little bit unnecessary. I think I would have gone with wood, just plain wood panelings here, bright wood, white wood, white floor, and a less colorful background wallpaper. So for that reason, I'm picking the top design.